Meelypops episode 32. Let's talk about the 2020 and 21 NFL draft classes. It's going to be fun. Let's look at some wax. Let's get it. Go! Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 32 of Meelypops. We are part of the SlabStox Network. Some big news dropping from Aaron and Nate and the boys with the SlabStox tool coming out very soon, so go check that out. I can't wait to be using that in the shop and let other people know about it. And it's free, so go sign up. But we are going to get into a very interesting topic, and I'm sure a lot of you are were glued to your screen last week watching the NFL draft. And as we consider this element of the 2020 football class versus the 2021 football class, and then also talking about some value, wax, cards, where do we go from here? So before we get into it, let me show you one really quick thing. This just today, I launched episode 6 of the Card Shop Show. If you don't know, sometimes I will comment on the Meelypops videos that are shown on the SlabStox channel under the Card Shop Show, because that's really our big YouTube plug. We have a YouTube plug called the Meelypops Shop as well, but we just use that for breaks, like dumping our breaks on there. So the Card Shop Show, let me show you here. If you don't know what it is on YouTube. It is called the Card Shop Show. Here's our most featured video, which was the most historic Pokemon sale. But here's episode 6, which is right here. If you go check it out sometime, I think you'll have a good time seeing what we did. We got to visit other card shops, including Cardiac Sports Cards in Apex and Indie Sports Cards in Indianapolis. And just did a kind of a feature video on that. Hopefully you guys will have fun with it. I think it'll be pretty sweet. Episode 6 of the Card Shop Show. Go check it out on YouTube. We would love to see you subscribe and have fun with that. We just have a good time with it. So I'm losing my voice because I was in Miami this past weekend and got to see the entire SlabStox team, which was really cool. Even Papa Stocks, Mr. J, shout out to him. But we had a good time and they had a good time. I was watching we were actually right near each other. Everybody was selling a ton of cards, moving a ton of cards, wheeling and dealing. If you went to Miami, shout out to you. Don't know if I even will remember conversations. It's kind of a big blur to me. So much was going on that weekend. And I'm exhausted still from it. But the show must go on. So episode 32, let's talk about this. So 2020 versus 21 football draft classes. Now, for sake of timing, I'll probably just focus on the quarterbacks in these two classes. But I was thinking about this, and I can't remember a time when we've had and we could even go back to 2019 and 18, all of these quarterbacks that are being drafted in the first couple rounds of the draft, meaningful draft positions, going to teams where there's going to be competition for them to start at quarterback. I really can't think of a timing, 2018, 19, 20, and 21. These past 4 years, there have been so many quarterbacks who are meaningful, right? You go back to 18, that's a strong class, guys. Now, I know everybody wants to talk about 17 with Mahomes, but let's just focus a little bit beyond that, because after 17, it was with 17, now with Watson and the things going on with him, it's really just Mahomes. I don't, for you Trubisky people out there, you can keep wishing, I guess. But 18, Baker, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, 3 massive names in the NFL. Josh Allen looking to be a perennial playoff contender, even Baker and Lamar, all 3 of those guys, as we move forward, thinking about those quarterbacks in that class. We get to 19, looks like Kyler's probably the most relevant guy, but then now we see Danny Dimes with the pickup of the first round of my boy Kadarius Toney from the Gators. Go Gators. And you think about what that offense could be now with Saquon, Ingram, Galladay, all the guys that they have, right? And how Daniel Dimes now becomes a much more sexier option when it comes to investment and grading. And you have to also, I'm going to shout this out there, think about what might happen to Gardner Minshew. You know, the backup for Trevor Lawrence will likely be that case, but maybe he gets traded midseason. Maybe he gets traded before the season starts. So some big things there to think about. I'm not going to go into too many more of the 2019 quarterbacks, but let's focus on 20 and 21 for sake of argument. So before the draft, right, we have, you know, some really big time quarterbacks from 2020. Joe Burrow, number one pick, you know, collegiate, you know, record breaking guy, national champion, Heisman, all these things. Massive injury, but we see into the offseason his cards not really take a big plummet, right? If you've been watching, you've been noticing that the cards, Burrow, have been kind of steadying and if not increasing, looking at NT and Prism and Optic and Select. So we have this big play with Burrow. We have the big play. People are treating his card values like he's already in the Hall of Fame in Justin Herbert. The two big quarterbacks there. But let's just take a little step back and look at the other quarterbacks, right? So you have Jalen Hurts, who's going to be starting for the Eagles. Nice pieces picked up for Jalen Hurts on the Eagles throughout the draft offensively. You have Aaron Rodgers coming out and talking about, you know, potentially him staying away, him stepping back, him not being involved, him wanting to go somewhere. So now we have a Jordan Love sighting with the quarterbacks. What's going to happen with Jordan Love from this 2020 class? You've already seen his card values just increase exponentially. So thinking about just even those four players, not even looking at the depth of the wide receiver class, not even looking at people like Edwards-Helaire, who's going to be on a perennial playoff team with the Chiefs, maybe even making, you know, the Super Bowl a few more times. You think about these positional players and these specialty players. It's a pretty deep class for card values, right? Wide receivers, a lot of talent there, a lot to be seen. We'll see what happens with those receivers, and then you have those really, in my mind, those four big quarterbacks from the 2020 class. It'll be interesting to see, I think, what pans out with some of those teams, specifically the Eagles and the Packers. I do think that we could see some values even growing beyond that. And then now let's fast forward to 2021. We look and see at, I can't even believe I'm forgetting about my man Tua, right, in the Dolphins. It's so late here. I'm looking at here just really quick. I'm like, who am I forgetting from the 2020 draft class? So Tua. So we have 5 quarterbacks really who are going to be viable starting quarterbacks from that 2020 class. Who knows what becomes of Jacob Eason? Who knows what becomes of someone like James Morgan? But I'll leave those guys. Ben DiNucci, we all know about Ben DiNucci. We'll leave those other guys there. But 5 quarterbacks from 2020. Fast forward to 2021, and now we have, 4 quarterbacks drafted in the first round? Or was it 5? My brain is mush. So Trevor Lawrence on the Jags, going to start. We know that. We have the picks 2, 3. Where was Zach Wilson? He went to the. I'll have to go back up here and look here. Zach Wilson. He's number 2 pick. I want to see where Mac Jones number pick he was. But what I'm getting to is we have probably another 5 quarterbacks that have meaningful positions, meaningful values in the card market moving into 2021. So not only will 2021 stuff be extremely hot, 2020 stuff is going to be extremely hot as well. So obviously Justin Fields, we all know about Trey Lance. It was 5 in the first round, right? With Mac Jones. Yeah, Mac Jones was the 5th. So 5 quarterbacks taken in the first round, and then second round into third round, Kyle Trask and Kellen Mond being picked up. Kyle Trask, I know a lot of you guys out there may be thinking I know I'm a Gatorhead, but we now have a quarterback who's young, who's behind Brady, that you know people are going to go nuts. Maybe this will bring back memories for many people with a Ryan Mallett, but then it became Jimmy G, right? And even before Ryan Mallett, Matt Castle. But just thinking about these things with the backup to Tom Brady, I would say that breaks next year, if you're buying the Bucks, are going to be exponentially expensive because you not only have Brady stuff, but you have the trash stuff as well. 5 major quarterbacks. Lawrence with the Jets. Wilson with I'm sorry, Lawrence with the Jags, Wilson with the Jets, Trey Lance with the Niners, Justin Fields with the Bears, and of course Mac Jones with the Patriots. So we have these 5 other quarterbacks plus the other 5 quarterbacks that we have from 2020. What is that going to do to card values, box values, graded cards, graded rookies as we look forward into these next coming months? My theories are this. Wax is going to be very expensive. 2020 wax right now, if you think is high, I think actually could exponentially increase into 2021, specifically in these next 3-4 months, coming up with July, coming up with August, September. Who knows what happens if a Justin Herbert goes 2-0 or 3-0, or Jalen Hurts goes 2-0 or 3-0. Or if Jordan Love comes out and looks really good. We have a lot to think about that with that, in addition to this 2021 class. So if you think wax values have been high in the past, I don't think it's going down anytime soon. There is going to be a tremendous amount of hype for this 2021 class moving forward, and them all having meaningful roles. Even I would venture to say someone like Trevor Lawrence having meaningful fantasy roles on a team that doesn't have a strong defense, where we're going to see all of these things play out. So if you're somebody and you're looking into this 2021 wax world coming out, because we have Onyx Vintage coming out on Friday. I think next week Contenders Draft, or maybe the week after that, comes out. I know the Leaf products are going to come out. I don't keep a track with all the Leaf stuff because there's so much of it. But this stuff is going to be expensive. And with the amount of quarterbacks that we have, the fandom and the fanfare is going to be off the charts. I go back to the beginning of the video. I can't think of a time where we've had this many consecutive years with this many important quarterbacks be so meaningful in the card market and in really all of football. So let's see how it plays out, right? I mean, I don't know how many of the quarterbacks are going to be awesome next year from 2020, from 2021, or going back from 2019. We could even bring up the 2019 quarterback class, right? Drew Lock, Gardner Minshew, Danny Dimes, Kyler Murray, fill in the blank, right? But it's just put a very interesting perspective for me as a card shop owner, thinking about how we're going to manage this. What if 2 of these quarterbacks from 2021 are good, and 2 of the quarterbacks from last year look like they're good? We're going to have just another frenzy with football. I'm excited for it because I like to see football and how these young players play out. And you know that there's going to be one quarterback from the last 2 to 3 years in somewhere that's going to emerge on some team, right, that nobody's buying. It just always happens, right? Exhibit A being Heineke on the Redskins, or other people that we've seen over these, Gardner Minshew in 2019, right? So let's look forward to this. Let's have fun with it. I'd love to see in the comments where you think these values are going to be. I mean, if you guys think Herbert is high in NT, what if Lawrence looks good next year? What will Lawrence prices be in NT, in Prism, in Select, right? It's fun to think about those things. And I didn't even bring up all the skill players in this 2021 football draft. I mean, it's interesting to think about all the guys, the receivers that got drafted, where they got drafted, the running backs that got drafted, and where they got drafted. So it'll be very interesting to see how that plays out as well. So really quickly, I just did my book every week and look at products that are coming out. Big things coming out this week. So on Wednesday, which will be today when you see this, 2020 Flawless Football hitting the shelves. Massive product. 2021 Crown Royale Basketball, which always has cards that people are intrigued in. I think that's the set that has the silhouette primes. May be wrong on that. I didn't check this week. But there is Tier 1 Baseball. Another kind of quick rip, lot of breakers product. 12-box cases. People fly through those. Nice, really on-card product. And then we have, like I said, Onyx Vintage coming out on Friday, which will be the first 2021 real kind of... It's interesting. It's a new product, right? You guys might have seen Onyx Baseball in the past. So we'll see how Onyx Vintage does. I know Justin Fields signed for it and others. And then lastly, Impeccable English Premier League Soccer. That also shows up this week as well on Friday. So a very interesting mix of things. Going back to last week, Bowman kind of ruled. Bowman was thought to rule if you looked at a calendar, but what came out ruling was UFC Prism. Conor McGregor and Khabib cards and Usman. I mean, just looking at that stuff, off the charts expensive. The men's and women's brackets, things that were just blew my mind. UFC Prism has skyrocketed in terms of price. So I know this world of wax is quite wild, and many people think that wax will never go down. Right? They say to themselves, "There's no way wax can go down." Or never can go up from these prices. They'll say it will always go down because it's so expensive. And then comes out UFC Prism, which then blows everything out the water. Panini selling it for $875 on their website, then eBay and my shop, by myself, we had them out for $900, $950, selling out immediately. Going to rebuy it. Should have bought more cases because I was buying them at about $1,000, $1,100. Now they're selling for about $1,200, $1,250. So just shows that people are really desperate and looking for these kind of newer fringe sports in collecting. So check that out. I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys supporting Meelypops. Please, in the comments, let me know what you think about these 2020 versus 2021. What's the better class? Who do you think is going to be the value play, or is there a quarterback that you're targeting that I haven't talked about in these two classes? Love to see it. I'll try and respond as much as I can throughout the week, and we'll have fun with it.